I'll tell you briefly about eXelate. Our objective is to make advertising online more relevant to consumers and therefore more effective for marketers. So it's smart data and smarter decisions as far as we're concerned. There's three aspects to our business, the first of which is working with web publishers, predominantly in a consumer environment, but also we do collect data, browsing behavior on interest and intent, also within B2B context as well, professionals and B2B data. So we collect behavioral data online. And then we push that through to advertising platforms, whether those platforms are DMPs, DSPs, exchanges, video networks, all of that sort of stuff, wherever media agencies, predominantly at this stage, can go and buy online advertising campaigns. And they can buy those online advertising campaigns having overlaid our data targeting, overlaid behavioral data about what people are doing and what they're interested in. So it's about audience targeting. And our purpose is, of course, to make online advertising more effective by utilizing additional data and additional insight that you have on browsing behavior. Okay, got it? Good stuff. I arrived a little bit later on today, so I don't. Have we heard the phrase big data a lot today? Yes. Yeah. Well, that's last year's phrase, in my opinion. There's a lot of noise. I'm reliably informed that actually isn't the eXelate server room. We're a little bit more than that. There's 139 servers in the States. Amsterdam's got 51, and we have 100 fallback balancing servers as well. So yeah, that's not us. But it is proper big data, and that means that there's a hell of a lot of noise. So I wanted to talk about how we're viewing it, which is all about the era of smart data. There's a lot of noise, but where are the signals within those noise? And we look for those signals in terms of people's interest and their intent and their online behavior. And that signal, of course, is a signal to take action. Smarter decisions taken from big data, you've got to drive revenue or market share or growth. Yeah, that's what it's all about. There's primary measures for marketing performance. But my point is we can't rely on big data anymore. We need to move that forward into a smart data environment. So we utilize three principles that I hope will help you stand yourselves in good stead to adopt a smart data approach. And that's, oh, hang on. You need to be accurate, actionable, and agile as well. Accurate, actionable, and agile. Now, I hope there was a lady over there, I don't think her name was Margaret, but she may have worked for someone. She's still here, had a good question about people like me always going on about what marketers' problems are, which is exactly what I'm going to do now. So hopefully I've got it right. Otherwise, she can heckle away. So the challenge is that the feedback that we're getting from people that we work with, marketers are losing control of their consumers for three key reasons. There's an immense amount there's a fragmentation of media. There's multiple communication channels everywhere. And previous speakers have covered this off. That means that it's very, very hard to reach people online. There's an awful lot of data everywhere, which means that it's very difficult to understand, and it's hard to harness, and there's no control of a central user profile either as well. And users are interacting on multiple platforms. It says table here, but I think it means tablet, mobile, and so on. It means it's very hard to understand what's happening next. And the real-time nature of marketing now, consumers are doing things extremely fast, which means real-time decision-making is critical, and marketing cycles are massively compressed. If you look at the turnaround, my background is many years ago in more traditional direct marketing, working for companies like Axiom, and you'd output data 4, 5, 6 months before a campaign, before a direct mail campaign took place. And those sorts of marketing cycles in a digital environment are no longer realistic. So consumers continue to digitize, especially through what they use. You know, everybody's aware of this curve, I think, and personal computers, you know, were standard until 2004. Rise of smartphones, of course, and tablets now very much coming to the fore. PC World were selling a tablet every second at Christmas. IBM reckon, this is a good American stat here, IBM reckon that 31.7% of online traffic on Cyber Monday, which is after Thanksgiving in the States, was mobile. Now that was up 45% on 2012 numbers, but it's worth considering that it's still a minority, actually. The majority of traffic is still coming through desktop, PC, laptop as well. However, it does mean, because the vast majority of online tracking, behavioral tracking, whether that's first party, second party, third party, is predominantly cookie. And cookies don't really work on mobile devices, mobiles, smartphones and tablets. So we are looking at a future very much of a cookie plus world, because desktop and laptop are still going to be extremely important, different types of browsers, all that sort of stuff. But we're going to need to develop that to cover things off in terms of smartphones and tablets. There's various ways that you can do that. I'm not going to cover it off now because it take a little bit too long, I think. The Internet of Things, of course, is another interesting one, because the amount of devices that are connected to the Internet is simply going to increase. So this graph's going to go crazy. Gartner suggests that connected devices will reach 26 billion by 2020, which is up from 0.9 billion in 2009. Some such technologies include the Samsung T9000 fridge, which can check stock levels and all that sort of thing automatically and then order them for you. It sounds like a Terminator to me, frankly, and I don't really want one in my kitchen. So. This is quite interesting to look at from how consumers go about their browsing activity online. Smartphones, they're always on and they're used pretty consistently, but then personal computers are very much the norm during working hours, effectively, and anyone who's ever done any email campaigns will see spikes in open rates around lunchtime, every single time. And tablets are starting to dominate at home in the evening. And of course, there's a proliferation of smart TVs. That's going to increase things in terms of second screen media consumption, tablets and TVs, but also smart TVs changes media purchasing from TV advertising perspective as well. So it'll be very interesting to see what data can be gathered out of that and how we can utilize it. Young consumers, of course, as well, changing things. As 4G gets more powerful, Wi-Fi is absolutely everywhere, and TV is consumed very much at device level as well. Adobe, not here today, but they actually think that 8% of marketers have a single multi-channel platform for data management. And 52% have separate, completely non-connected technologies managing data for different channels. So this is going to be an enormous challenge for everybody in the industry to not just think about online and offline channels and the synchronization of that through various ways in which onboarding of data and stuff like that, which is actually even more difficult in the European Union than it is in the States, where it's relatively straightforward. So, you know, this is only going to get more complicated, and that's why, you know, we take this smart data approach and look at how we can be accurate and actionable and agile, whatever the device that the consumer is utilizing. So, from your perspective, if you're working with big data and you would like to move it towards this more smart data approach, which we found very successful. Data accuracy is extremely important, and at the most basic level, how you're segmenting and structuring and mapping your data is very important. But you need to see what other processes that you can put in place to ensure the accuracy of your data as well. It must be what it says it is in order to drive value. And data quality very much matters. We utilize external third parties to validate the accuracy of our data. So we work with Comscore and with Nielsen to make sure that demographic data, for example, that we're collecting is accurate. And we're very granular in the data that we collect as well. We've got 15,000 different segments of data targeting options globally. It's probably a bit too much, actually. It can be slightly overwhelming. From an actionable perspective, this is important to make sure that your ad technology, and we've talked a lot about marketing automation packages and all of that, it's never going to be as simple as having one platform that does everything for you, unfortunately. But you need to make sure that the ad tech that you have gives you reach into the audiences that you want. And this is why, we're very much we're very interested in integrating with as many platforms as we possibly can and putting our data, our actionable data, into as many marketing platforms as possible to give you guys the audience reach that you want. Agility. Consumers are making decisions in real time across multiple channels. So data must follow, and we must follow as marketers. Smart data has got to shift and adapt to changing technical requirements and business conditions. And that's the way that we work. We have dynamic models that will rank users in real time, users being people who are browsing online, according to a particular model scorecard. And if they are within that advertiser's, or ranking highly within that advertiser's scorecard, then they will be served an impression, or then they will be shown a video. So you've got to have a little bit of flexibility and be agile in terms of what you're doing. A couple of checks. I've got a little clock here, and it says 14 minutes and 21 seconds. So we'll move swiftly through these. Data quality. This is a check that we always ask. Are people questioning the accuracy of the data? And does that mean that you've got a data quality issue? According to Experience, 73% of businesses collect data. But 22% of problems with business intelligence stem from inaccurate data. So there's a lot of, and that's the biggest contributing point. So a lot of people collecting data, but are they collecting it of the best quality? And data scale. So big data it's not set up to scale and grow your business. It's just too much of it. So are you struggling for clear business cases on the basis of the data that you've got? Can you find compelling evidence within that big data to make the decisions that you need? And is that big data, is it driving revenue or market share? Is there a cost reduction business case to be made? Real time as well. Does your big data run in batch? Do you have to wait hours, days, or even to be able to take action? That's not good enough anymore. It needs to be real time. Are you validating? I've covered that. Is it actionable? Can you take action on it every day? That's extremely important. Resource heavy. This is something that that we hear about an awful lot. Is that the amount of resource that it takes to make decisions around big data is very, very, very difficult. You've got an army of consultants and platforms and vendors and so on, all queuing up to fulfill your big data strategy. And then flexibility is extremely important as well. Is it very painful to adapt your data to new platforms like mobile, new channels? Because that's only going to get more complicated as time goes by. So despite these challenges, we are getting a lot of traction in terms of audience targeting, and it's becoming the norm. So you can see the stats across the top in terms of who's employing it through agencies, network exchanges, DMPs, and marketers, all in the 80%. and in a vast majority of their campaigns as well, which is obviously great from our perspective. Final point. Marketing, there's a huge amount of challenges with data, with technology, and with advertising online digitally, and it will get more complicated. So let's try and keep it simple, extremely simple, and marketing is still about getting a customer, keeping them, retaining them, and growing them, which of course is maximising your margin or your cross and your upsell. So keep it simple and stay very, very focused on core objectives. It's about eXelate. Here, these are some awesome products that we've got. Optics, not yet. Actually, that's live in America, coming through to EU soon. And this is some other cool stuff about our technology, massive infrastructure, and premium partners, and we're global, and we're in 100 countries and all that stuff. But I'm not going to go through that now, or talk about all of the leadership and privacy and stuff like this, because it's time for me to shut up and take any questions from you, if you have any at all. Thanks very much for listening.